Crop harvest. Harvesting crops. Once crops have come to full maturation, they are ready for harvest. Harvest refers to picking or collecting the part of the crop to be eaten. This can be done using manual or mechanical methods. Once the edible part of annual crops have been harvested, the field can be prepared for another growing season. This may involve removing the remaining parts of the plant from the field or plowing them under to amend the soil. Harvesting root crops. Before harvesting root crops, the tops should be cut low to the ground. In some instances, like with beet greens, the tops of these plants are also edible. Once cutting the tops low, the soil around the roots and tubers should be carefully loosened. Finally, the root or tuber can be pulled from the ground. Excess dirt and root hairs can be removed before storing in a cool, dry location. Harvesting cereal crops. Cereal crops require harvest by cutting the stalk, followed by threshing or beating to remove the grains. Threshing can be done manually by hitting the harvested stalks with a stick and collecting the grains that drop, or the entire harvesting process can be accomplished mechanically with a combine harvester. Grains should be stored in a cool, dry location. The remaining crop residue can be used for animal feed, to be tilled back into the soil, or for making other products like baskets. Grains can be stored in large silos or smaller rhombuses to protect them from moisture. Harvesting legumes. Legumes can be manually pulled or cut from the plant, or the entire plant can be removed with separation of the bean later. Beans can be dried to allow for long storage. Harvesting bush crops. Bush crops, such as peppers and tomatoes, can be picked or cut from the plant. These crops will continue to produce throughout the season and may be harvested for quite some time. When harvesting hot pepper varieties, farmers should wear gloves and/or thoroughly wash hands after harvest. Care should be taken to avoid touching one's face while harvesting hot pepper varieties. Harvesting fruits. Manual harvesting is typical for fruits, as sometimes they are more easily damaged by mechanically handling. Fruit should be stored in a cool place to slow down ripening. If harvesting and attempting to hold onto fruit for longer, consider harvesting before it is fully ripe and allowing the fruit to ripen on a stalk, like plantains, so they travel more easily without spoiling. Post-harvest considerations. After harvest, there are some things to consider. These include storage, processing and packaging, and transportation to market. Refrigeration and root cellars. Refrigeration is only available when electricity is available, but can greatly increase the shelf life of products that are to be eaten. If no electricity is available, root cellars can be used to preserve crops. Root cellars are dug into the ground where the temperature is more constant. To allow easy access to the stored crop, they may be dug into the side of a hill. Dry storage. Dry storage can be used to protect beans and grains from rotting. Dry storage can also be used for fruits with hardened skins like plantains. Dry storage is also good for dried or cured crops like onions, garlic, or ginger. Dry storage often uses a specialized structure. There are some examples of grain storage structures shown on the right. These structures protect grain from moisture and allow for air circulation. Washing and sanitation. Washing harvested crops helps to remove dirt and debris. Washing can also help remove bacteria from crops before storage. Sanitation solutions can also be used. It is very important that clean water, free from contaminants, is used to wash crops. Contaminated water can introduce additional risk and may spread illness. Packaging. Packaging should be considered as a capital output cost if you're raising large amounts of produce for shipping. Packaging should protect the product but allow for airflow to prevent rotting. Packaging containers, specifically wholesale large harvesting containers, should be washed between products to prevent contamination of the food. Packaging can be made of plastic, paper, or natural products like banana leaves. Packaging should not be reused unless sanitized. Packaging weight should also be considered if shipping the product. Shipping. In order to move processed crops from farm to consumer, some form of shipping or transportation is usually required. The food should stay relatively the same temperature throughout the process of shipping after the product has been harvested and processed, clean, packaged, etc., to maintain food safety. Shipping can be done by a third-party company to save on costs, but many farmers transport crops themselves. When shipping, be sure packages and containers are clean of debris and sanitized at each delivery.